This video is a look at the top 10 songs on Billboard's mainstream rock chart, ending with the week of December 30th, 2017. Welcome to Billboard Gets Rocked. Looking back at last month's top 10, which you can check out on the YouTube card, I got 9 out of my 10 predictions correct, and that's my best so far. Also, we have a new #1 song on the list. Finally! I'm excited, and I know that's kind of spoiling it, but come on, it finally happened. So, no more wasting time, let's jump into it. Number 10, The Resistance by Skillet. Starting off the top 10 is Skillet with a new song to the list in The Resistance. Skillet is no stranger to the top 10 of Billboard's mainstream rock chart. The song is coming off of 2016's Unleashed, which was, at the time, an album I thought was okay, but admittedly it didn't age well. It's definitely a format for Skillet now, and The Resistance has that similar feeling of everything the band has done previously. That chorus of "This is how we rise up" is a big staple of Skillet's style over the past few years, and that's fine, but they've had better songs from their latest album than The Resistance, mainly Back from the Dead. It's a radio chorus for sure, and with the Skillet feel, it definitely is familiar territory for the band. I don't hate the song by any means, and I actually like it more than one of Unleashed's previous singles, Feel Invincible. John Cooper sounds fine here, and I don't think I have a problem with the song holding the number 10 spot, but admittedly, it feels like you can change this track out with any other Skillet song for the past few years, and it would work out just as well. I like Skillet fine, but The Resistance itself as a song sounds very similar to everything they've been doing for the past few years, including on their most recent album. I think it'll stay on the top 10 for a couple weeks, but by this time next month, I don't think it'll stay on the top 10. It's just how I see it. There's a joke about The Resistance not lasting, but I'm not smart enough to really piece it together, and it's too complicated right now. I'm sure there's a Star Wars joke in there somewhere too, but whatever. Moving on. Number 9, Go to War by Nothing More. After a long ride on Billboard's mainstream rock chart, it looks like Go to War is finally starting to drop down. It did fortunately spend a week at number 1, but then quickly fell down the chart over this past month. The song spent 25 weeks on the chart though, which is huge for a younger band, especially when they are in the midst of some very big names surrounding them in the top 10. I want to see more of these younger bands with a lot of potential on this chart that also have the music to back them up. Not just the same bands getting on the top 10 because of the name already being a household name, or because it's just a good radio hook. There needs to be more effort in music making, and Nothing More definitely represents what good can come from making something with said effort. After so many weeks on Billboard's top 10 for mainstream rock, I think it's finally going to be off the top 10 this time next month. And that's fine, considering how good of a run Go to War had. Also, I really hope that Nothing More wins a Grammy this year for one of the 3 they're nominated for, regardless of which one. I know the Grammys really don't mean much, especially to so many bands, but for a younger band to beat out so many big names like Metallica, Foo Fighters, Chris Cornell, that's a big deal. Number 8, Novocaine by 10 Years. I feel like 10 Years is a band who doesn't get as much credit as they used 2 years ago. Whether you're a fan or not, the band knows how to make a hit, and Novocaine sounds like an attempt at that. It's the single off their latest album, How to Live as Ghosts, and after 16 weeks on the chart, the song has reached its peak position at number 8. While I'm not crazy about what sounds like the Kid Choir, I still think Novocaine is a solid track. The song is about becoming numb to everyday life and common problems when you grow up. The drum work really comes in clear, and it has a bit of a Chevelle groove to it in the verses. Over the past few months or so, I've heard Novocaine get a huge boost in airplay, and I think that's what will help get ears on 10 Years again. This is honestly the only song I've heard from the band's latest album, but it does make me curious to hear what else the band has brought in their 8th full album. I don't think it's the best song 10 Years has ever made, but I'm more than fine with it getting airtime. Given how long this song has been on Billboard's mainstream rock chart, I don't think it'll stay in the top 10 next month. Could be wrong on this one, but I'm willing it'll fall off the top 10 by this time in January. Also, I just want to say, I like 10 Years. Even though this song isn't the greatest thing I think they've ever done, I still like it fine, and I really like the meaning behind it. It's real efforts all the way through. How refreshing. Number 7, Trouble by 5 Finger Death Punch. At number 7 is a song that's only been on the chart for 7 weeks, and it's already jumped up that fast. Once again, name value has its way, and 5 Finger Death Punch definitely has name value in radio rock. This new song comes along with their recent greatest hits album, A Decade of Destruction. For those of you wondering if Trouble is any good, I can genuinely tell you that it sounds just like the rest of the band's songs for the last few years. So if you like those, then you'll like this. That's really an accurate description also. I mean, lyrically, it's the same subject matter about not caring what others think, along with the same sounding riffs that the band has been pulling off since around 2013. I've said before that this band is wasted potential. They can play, Ivan Moody can sing, but for years now it's been the same status quo bro metal tracks that don't dare change anything up. It's appealing to the same audience that just goes to bro out at festivals and pretend to be tough. So a song with a line like Trouble Looks For Me is going to be a new tattoo across their bicep. Do I hate this song? No. I mean, how can I? It literally sounds like every other song Five Finger Death Punch has put out for years now. So it's also coming from a big name, so I really believe it'll be on the top 10 next month. Name brand alone. I mean, this song really does sound almost identical to so many other songs they've done, and it's the same content of just not caring what other people think, and that makes you tough. I don't look for trouble, trouble looks for me. Come on, guys. Number 6, Walk on Water by 30 Seconds to Mars. I knew Walk on Water was going to stay on the top 10 for name value alone, even if it is a bit generic sounding. I really don't think it's terrible, but it's as cliche as it gets on hitting the inspirational feels and building up to a chorus. It's everything that alt-rock, radio rock, and most car commercial advertisements are looking for in background music, and a new album isn't even out yet. This style of song is all over alt-rock radio right now, and it feels watered down when compared to the 30 Seconds to Mars from years ago. It's not Imagine Dragons level of facepalming, because I do think Walk on Water is fine enough, but I also think Plain Vanilla Ice Cream is fine enough. It's not bad, but when you want ice cream, you usually want something better than something so generic. It sounds like the same generic alt-rock song done 1,000 different ways by 1,000 other bands. The difference is that it has Jared Leto's emo Joker's face right in front of it. And that means something, so it's definitely staying on the top 10. Number 5, Kill For Me by Marilyn Manson. I said last month Marilyn Manson would be staying on the top 10, and it was another easy prediction. Just like 30 Seconds to Mars, the name value alone will keep it afloat. To be fair though, I stand by that Kill For Me, despite the cheesy song title, is a bit more melodic and calm Manson with a good rhythm behind it, and his singing of I Love You repeatedly. Now that Manson is healing up and going back on tour again, it'll be interesting to see if other songs from his latest album, Heaven Upside Down, will make the top 10 of this chart. It's up in the air how long Kill For Me will stay on the chart, and if I had to guess, I'd say it'll be here for another month in the top 10, but like I said last month, Manson is a polarizing figure in the rock scene. As far as levels of over-the-top goes for Marilyn Manson, Kill For Me really isn't that bad. Plus, it has a good rhythm, and the song matches Manson's vocals well with that rhythm. And considering all the other songs that have been on Billboard's mainstream rock chart, that's a big deal too, so I'm happy about that. Number 4, Betray and Degrade by Seether. Betray and Degrade by Seether has stayed static at the number 4 spot from last month and has been in the top 10 for well over 2 months now. This song sounds just different enough than typical Seether fare, with its slow rhythm open to a loud and crazy bridge between the choruses. It stands out while still keeping Seether identity and sound. Betray and Degrade has been on the chart for 18 weeks. It may not hit number 1, but it's most likely going to stay in the top 10 for a month from now. I think if mainstream rock and this chart alone have proven that Seether has staying power. And while Seether may not be a household name, they definitely have a strong fan base, and this song definitely satisfies those fans. 2017 has been a good year for Seether. Constant touring, the success of Poison the Parish, Rise Above Fest. Don't expect Seether to go away anytime soon. Also, Seether really has a lot going for them, not just making funny faces in music videos. I mean, look at that happy mug, how can you get mad at that? Number 3, I Only Lie When I Love You by Royal Blood. Royal Blood led to my only incorrect prediction from last month, and wow was I wrong. I Only Lie When I Love You. I said last month that I liked the song fine, but that it really sounds similar to many other songs from their latest album, How Did We Get So Dark. I also said I thought the song wouldn't be on the top 10 for this month, but it turns out it jumped up several spots to number 3. At the very least, it still proves my point that radio loves Royal Blood and is going to continue playing them. The song shows off their talent well and does a good job of representing the band's sound. With all the songs that have gotten airplay from Royal Blood in such a short time, I guess I should figure that every song that gets attention will have some staying power. Last month I said Royal Blood would not stay on the top 10 and I was very wrong. So much so that it jumped up to number 3. And looking at that, I'm gonna say it sticks around in the top 10 next month as well. I mean, radio loves to play Royal Blood, and they have a British accent, so all the ladies are happy. So it works on a lot of levels. Number 2, RX by Theory. The good news is that I can finally say that Theory no longer has the number 1 song on Billboard's mainstream rock chart. It's like the universe finally woke up and say, alright, that's enough. However, it's still number 2. RX has been high on the chart for months now, and for some reason, radio stations just cannot stop playing this song because I honestly don't know anymore. I can't imagine listeners calling in and tweeting radio stations desperate to hear more Theory. The song also gets pretty repetitive with the music and whistle really fast. I get that the one line in the chorus about being bored is topical and personal to some people, but even those listeners would agree there is better music out there than a song with the lyric, "Why oh why does God hate me?" I also feel that the fans of Theory of a Dead Man, or Theory, I mean the real fans, would agree that this is not the best song they've done. So why is it getting so much airplay? Because it's edgy? Number 1, The Sky is a Neighborhood by Foo Fighters. After a great performance on SNL, which I'll link in the YouTube cards, along with the Christmas medley and a ton of festival and touring announcements for 2018, Foo Fighters are still rolling with The Sky is a Neighborhood. I'm totally fine with this song being number 1 also. It's a slow jam session track, and you really get Dave Grohl's presence in just about every second of it. It'll be interesting to see how long The Sky is a Neighborhood stays at the top. It'll for sure be in the top 10 next month also, but as the band's latest album Concrete Gold has been out for a while now, and there aren't many other songs that may get this much airplay, it could be the last song we hear from Foo Fighters on the top 10 chart for a while. I'm not saying we'll never hear Foo Fighters again at the number 1 spot, and I could be wrong. Another song from Concrete Gold could make the top 10 of this chart. But for now, I'm just saying I'm happy that there's a new number 1 song, and I'm totally fine with Foo Fighters taking that spot, especially for a song like The Sky is the Neighborhood. And that was the top 10 of Billboard's mainstream rock chart from December 2017. What was your favorite song on the list? Leave a comment below and please subscribe so you can check next month's Billboard Gets Rocked. Big thanks to my patrons for their support. You can check out my concert photography on Instagram, and you can keep up to date with Rocked on Facebook and Twitter.